Hello fellow hardcore boxing fans, it's Stefke, a friend of BDA Boxing. Even despite we showed you the exact ways in which Crawford could beat Canelo in the previous breakdown, even the creator of this video was surprised by Crawford's performance and disappointed by Canelo's game plan. So let's examine what went wrong. Let's hear an important part of our pre-fight breakdown first.
In their fight, he was taking way less risks than usual, and he stuck to the fundamental. He was more defensively responsible and wasn't opening himself with risky moves. The most visible difference was Crawford switching his jab from the usual flicking jab, mainly used as a bait to set up a counter, to a powerful stiff jab used to inflict the damage on Spence. So it should come as no surprise if Crawford gives us a performance without some or without many flaws that we are warning the viewers about in this lead up to the Canelo fight.
It turned out Crawford did just that for the Canelo fight too. Another thing our pre-fight video warned about was Canelo's lack of punches coming forward and giving Crawford opportunities to score quick straight punches, either with single shots or with flurries before moving out. On the other hand, we expected Canelo to change his fighting approach from his recent one in which he was throwing one big punch at a time. He probably wanted to change it too, since he slimmed down and we heard the rumors of him having great training camp and going for the speed, volume and endurance, but it looks like it's hard for him to break out of habits that he locked himself into for the past 7 years. Even when Crawford wasn't throwing, he was still active with feints and probes, disabling Canelo's offense and making him hesitant to walk in. With Canelo's single punch attacks, him meeting Crawford's volume was making him back up and reset, in order for him to block and duck punches while coming forward and closing the distance. Instead of resetting, Canelo needed his own combos and setup punches for Crawford to think about. Throwing predictable haymakers is not how you hit Crawford. It's done with quickness and feints, not predictable sledgehammers. Also, with Crawford turning out to be as big as Canelo, some of us overrated the effect that Canelo's punches could have on him.
Crawford, he's so fine.
Like said before, Crawford was not taking the same risks he has been taking against the other opponents. This is a good example. Canelo comes in without jabbing and Crawford leans over his front foot, just like when he feints a jab to bait in the opponent, then lean back and counter. But instead of a bait, he leads with 2 jabs and gets out. Even when jabbing and hooking on the pivots, he was not waiting for Canelo to throw a punch. Instead, he was the first to lead and outquick an opponent who is not jabbing. With Canelo's lead hand always stuck to his body and face, instead of threatening the area in front of him, it offers easy scoring points for a quick jab. We see Crawford touching and probing Canelo's lead glove to make Canelo keep it close to him, and Crawford places a jab right behind these probes. And him adding the third step by occupying the lead hand again after jabbing to prevent a possible counter. Here, he reads Canelo's body language perfectly. Canelo's coming forward, so he occupies his jab. Canelo leaning over his right indicates the danger of an incoming right hand, so he quickly jabs Canelo's face before he throws the right hand. Then Canelo leans over his left, preparing the left hook, but Crawford reaches out with his lead hand and deflects it. Canelo starts stepping outside of Crawford's lead foot, so Crawford occupies his lead hand and pivots out to get outside of Canelo's lead foot. Even on the rare occasions of him using traps against Canelo, he was using less riskier traps. Like here, he's feinting up and down with his guard close to his face, inviting Canelo to step in and overextend, while Crawford is sneaking out his back foot backwards so he could lean back, evade or catch Canelo's punch, and lean in with a jab rear hook counter which misses. Here he takes a wide stance, and as he's backing up he leans forward to jab, probe and feint, then leans back. And he keeps on shifting his upper body front and back a couple of times, like this. He's leaning back to give Canelo a false impression of being out of reach. So as he starts stepping in, Crawford leans in and catches him with the rear left.
Oh, he's down!
But the story of Crawford occupying Canelo's lead hand was just a part of a much bigger picture, which was about not letting him set his feet. While Canelo was fighting a battle to get his feet in the right position at the right time to unleash his hard punches at Crawford, Crawford's jabs, feints and probes were delaying that process until the inevitable moment of Canelo setting his feet for a punch. That last moment before Canelo sets his feet was the moment Crawford would move away, forcing Canelo to reset continuously and start a new battle for positioning all over again. The creator of this video was not expecting him to move that well and be as mobile at 168, since he was wrongly expecting him to add the additional mass for the fight. Almost every single time Canelo decided to use his jab, especially as a landing blow, he could not miss Crawford's head. Jab usually being the quickest and the least telegraphing punch out of all punches available to a boxer, proved our theory on how to beat Crawford as correct. But an even bigger number of untelegraphed straight right hands thrown with quickness and without loading up on them that Canelo landed upstairs whenever he decided to throw them solidified it even further. On the other hand, it showed us that we underrated Crawford's punch resistance and size at this weight, since we ignored that he's a natural 168 pounder like his coach Bomac claimed. He easily sees the telegraphed sledgehammers, and quick punches won't hurt him badly unless he's set up with something he does not see. Otherwise, he needs to be outlanded and outpointed. The way Alvarez was placing his straight rights to the body was very simple and without any advanced setups, but despite it, they were still landing on Crawford for as long as Alvarez was throwing them. Yet, it seems like he abandoned them and forgot them later in the fight. Just like we exhibited in our pre-fight study, Alvarez was very successful occupying Crawford's lead hand with feints and probes while closing the distance, which were setting up Crawford for these left hooks upstairs and downstairs. Watch him first occupy his lead hand on the first step with this very small jab feint upstairs. On his second step, he occupies it with a lead uppercut feint, then uses it to clear the rear hand out of way for his straight right. Or he makes him drop the lead hand with the jab feint, then shoots this straight right, which despite getting partially blocked, slapped off Crawford's glove and still landed with impact on his face. He was even able to land a right hook around Crawford's rear glove behind these setups, just like we pointed out in the last video. And it was also done during Crawford's pivots and lateral movements, during which he brings his gloves in front of his face. Just look how much he confused and blinded him with his quick setup punches and feints, instead of loading on a single haymaker around the guard.
Some beautiful combinations.
In fact, in the later rounds, Alvarez started landing hooks around the guard set with just one tiny lead hand feint, quite regularly, if he only paid more attention to Crawford's glove reactions and kept making the variations in between straight and looping punches throughout the whole fight like we expected him to do. He would have landed many more punches on Crawford than he did that night. And Crawford's rear glove was giving him the same opening for the looping right hand even in this fight. Imagine if Canelo took notice of Crawford parrying his straight rights with his rear glove, and the next time he looped the right hand instead. The only exception was this moment where he went for an overhand and Crawford put his rear glove to the side expecting Canelo to throw a punch around his glove, but Canelo probably noticed it and threw it down the middle. Despite landing some hard and simple body shots, the right way to hurt Crawford to the body is shown right here, where he gets confused and out of position with feints and setup punches. Even Avanesian's liver shot that hurt him was a light but quick and well-timed punch. But often when Canelo got hit with something good, he was so frustrated that he was in a hurry to retaliate with haymakers. Although the creator of this video thought Canelo actually outlanded Crawford in more rounds, maybe Canelo was right to chase the KO, knowing that Netflix and the US boxing establishment, desperate to artificially create and crown a new American pound-for-pound king over a much superior European heavyweight, already set the story of the fight in advance. Canelo also wasted multiple opportunities to immediately follow up his big right hooks with a short left hook, which was there all night long, anytime he would trigger Crawford's catch and shoot with the rear hand. But instead, Canelo would back up on the incoming straight lefts from Crawford, which perfectly describes Canelo's performance. He kept on attacking with a single punch, then backing up in order to evade Crawford's counters, which was making him reset and start all over again. It means that Canelo was fighting in and out, but with a volume far too low for such a style, which necessitates a high volume of quick punches. Canelo too got an equally valuable lesson from this fight, especially in case he's planning to activate the rematch clause, that he should box Crawford, and surprisingly, many opponents managed to outbox and outquick Crawford, to close the distance behind volume, quickness and feints, because the activity and volume will make Crawford more hesitant to throw his own flurries than a single haymakers from Canelo ever could. He should try to KO Crawford only if he starts opening with big punches after getting outboxed, because that's when he gets desperate and starts slugging, or set him up with a quick punch on top of feints and setup punches that he does not see instead of sledgehammers. Let us know in the comments if you have any additional thoughts about this fight that we haven't included. And even better, tell us what were the skills or flaws and the other things you miscalculated about this fight. I would like to thank God, Al Heyman, His Excellency King Bucho and Mr. BDA for this opportunity.